Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated as the event is about to begin.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and we welcome you back to Maryville University and the 2022 Maryville Athletics Hall of Fame ceremony. I'm Jim Powers, and I'll be your Master of Ceremonies this evening. And it's great to see everybody here tonight. And it feels like we just did this yesterday, doesn't it? I mean, you know, we moved last year to February, and now we have another unbelievable class that we're going to induct this evening. At this time, to start our things off, it is my honor and privilege to welcome the Vice President of Student Life here at Maryville University, Dr. Nina Codwell, to offer a few words to start us off.
Great, thank you so much, Jim. Good evening to everyone. I'd like to just say on behalf of our president, Dr. Mark Lombardi, who sends his regret he is unable to be here this evening, we'd like to thank you for attending tonight's Hall of Fame ceremony. Tonight, we pay special recognition to the great accomplishments of our student athletes and to our inductees for their support throughout the years. This recognition is very deserving for each and every one of our awardees tonight. We appreciate each and every one of you and wish you well. Thank you so much for coming, and we hope that you enjoy the evening.
Thank you, Dr. Codwell. It's now time to meet the class of 2022. Let's meet our very first inductee into the Maryville class of 2022 Hall of Fame.
Dawn was blessed by God with a natural talent for athleticism and volleyball. But when she first came, she came from Bernie, and the Bernie Mules were a good volleyball team, and she was a big fish in little water down there. And when you come into the collegiate level, all of a sudden, there's a whole lot of big, quick, strong people. And it was really cool to see Dawn make that change from just a naturally talented volleyball player to an incredible athlete.
I kind of did a little research and looked back through the record books, and man, I was so shocked to kind of see her still leading in many of the, kills, blocks. I mean, you look back and she was Player of the Year one year. When those types of stats hold for how many years, 20 years, you're just like, man, she was really good. You don't realize when you're playing, and having fun and making memories, how much of an impact she had.
Dawn was definitely a team sport player. I don't know how she would have done in individual sports because she brought the team together. Like, she was big and she was powerful, but it was never about Dawn. It was always about the team. Oh my gosh, you gave me a great set. Oh my gosh, you picked that ball up so that I could set up to slam it down. There was always credit given to the whole team. It was never a one-man show with Dawn. So I think that was one of the most impressive things about her, is that she would have never given this award to herself, because she would have never seen herself as the standout because the team stood out. And so that's what was really great about her, and I think that it's just marvelous that she's receiving this award.
Our team always had fun. We would always just be together and just have fun as friends. I mean, we were always doing something crazy, like dancing in the parking lot when it was 11 p.m. outside, just celebrating our win, or I guess the kids do TikToks now. Well, we didn't have a camera, but you know, I mean, we were just really close as a team.
You know, a lot of times they say you don't specifically remember what somebody said to you, but you always remember how they made you feel. And Dawn always made everyone feel valuable. That was a great thing, and not everybody can do that. I just am so excited that Dawn is receiving this honor. She truly deserves it. She is just an outstanding human being.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to welcome the first member of the class of 2022, Hall of Famer, Dawn Smathers. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I want to say that Lonnie did not mention this part.
That's the second person that has said that to me tonight, just so you know. Talk about what this award means to you, being part of such a just tradition, some unbelievable individuals that are a part of the Hall of Fame here at Maryville University.
I think that it was totally a shock when Lonnie finally tracked me down. I was like, well, we had a good team. We weren't that good, were we? Because I came from a school, like Maria said, I came from Bernie, and we had state championships, multiple ones of them, and we did not lose. And so when you lost, it was a big deal. It was awful. And I remember our first loss, and I was sobbing, and everybody else was like, you win some, you lose some. That's why they say that. Okay. But yeah, this is a big honor. Thank you.
What are some of your favorite memories? And first we'll just talk about the school, then we'll talk about some of the things that we just saw in the video with your teammates. But what are some of your favorite memories of being a student here at Maryville University?
Definitely the program faculty. I was in the physical therapy program, and they encouraged me, they supported me, they challenged me to be better. I definitely was a very innocent kid who had a lot of growing up to do in the big city school, and this campus was small, and so it was nice having that family feeling. And I do want to point out, my physical therapy faculty actually came back.
All right, let's talk about the athletic side, the volleyball side. You know, you look at volleyball back when you were in college and how the game has evolved, but talk about just your style of play and some of your teammates that helped you be successful in order to be sitting up here this evening.
Well, we had switched maybe a few years previously. We used to play 3 sets to 5 sets, and then it became from 15 points to 25, and our team, we were not scholarshiped. We played for fun, and so we had talent, but we chose to pursue an academic reason for attending college and not the athletic reason. And so our team had hard work on their side. If you look at the record book, after Lonnie pointed it out to me, there are multiple of my teammates that are on that record book. And I saw in the bulletin that we lead like in the most wins, and that was our team that did not get scholarships, and we just worked really, really hard. We had multiple different coaches. I know we had some coach changeovers. As far as my teammates, I cannot believe whoever turned that photo in of me singing with the remote control.
Don't worry, we are going to talk about that here in a second.
We had fun. We went to the park. We enjoyed ourselves, and even when we may not have won, we still had fun. We were still a team doing it.
What were you singing in that picture? Do you even remember?
Ice Ice Baby.
See, she's back in my era, so there you go. I mean, you know, we're talking the same language. What's a funny story from that group? I mean, we saw some of the pictures in here in a minute, but what's a funny story or something that was just absolutely hysterical that you can remember from that group? And I'm sure there's a lot of them.
I know one year we had, I think, 8 people get injured, and I think 6 of them were ACL tears. And I know that's not funny, Dawn. But it started becoming funny, and then every time we did anything, whether it be like walking up the stairs, hey, nobody tear their ACL, okay? But.
Talk about some of the keys of your success now that you took away from Maryville, not only as a student, but as a terrific athlete. What are some of those things that have helped mold you to where you're at right now as an adult and in your career?
I think the examples of my physical therapy instructors and then the people that I surrounded myself with, including the volleyball team, that they taught me that relationships and hard work are important, and it's not a stepping over someone to get to a certain point. It's a working together to get to a certain point.
And you see our volleyball team, you know, the strides that they've made. How impressed and how happy are you to see what our current volleyball team is doing and how they've really started to raise the level of volleyball here at Maryville?
I think it's awesome, and we would try some of those moves, and maybe we had the best skill level to try those moves, but we would always try to do something challenging, and they look like they're doing things effortlessly.
Last question. I know there's some folks here that you'd like to thank. This is your time. Go ahead and thank those folks.
Well, I definitely want to thank my husband for coming, and then my mom for staying home with my kids. I live in Joplin, Missouri, and our kids play sports, and my daughter is currently playing, well, she might be done playing tennis. My son had soccer practice today. We've got districts coming up, so definitely my family. I want to thank my physical therapy faculty. I'm really honored that you guys came. And it was so exciting when we were driving by and I saw him up there. I'm like, I didn't know that Judy was going to be here. You know, I think that's really cool that you guys came back. And I'm now a faculty member at a college as well. And I sure hope that my students think the same thing that I think about mine.
A little bit new appreciation that you're a faculty member for what these wonderful individuals have done for you?
Definitely, for sure. And then I don't want to forget my teammates. They were awesome. We had so much fun, and I keep in touch with several of them. And, you know, they just, like Maria, she has the biggest heart out of anybody I know. And that girl had bleeding hips because she threw herself in there to get those dives. And, you know, they didn't let me play back row. I don't know why. I had to play front row. They didn't let me go to back row, but she would come in for me, and we were just a fabulous team.
Well, thank you so much for being here this evening. And once again, welcome to the 2022 Maryville University Hall of Fame. Congratulations. And now it's time to meet our next inductee into the Maryville University Athletics Hall of Fame.
Well, Nate, and I nickname all of our wrestlers, and I nickname him Doc because he's always wanted to be a doctor. So I've known Doc a number of years now, and recruited him here. And of course, it was a privilege, pleasure, and honor to be part of his journey here. He's been a gift. He's been a gift to our wrestling program, his teammates, our coaches.
I think he's the epitome of what a Division II athlete is. He was excellent in the classroom, 3.95 GPA, med school, and obviously we know his talents on the wrestling mat. When you look at really skilled athletes, you know, they see things before they happen, and you can just see Nate as always was sort of ahead of his opponent.
Nate got so many awards academically and wrestling-wise. We used to kind of have the joke amongst our coaching staff. There was always some award that we got that he hadn't picked up yet. Nate, come to the office, you got another award sitting there. And we'd make a joke about it, but he was athlete of the year in the conference out of all the male athletes. You know, his accomplishments, both academically and athletically, were superior. But he was much more than that. He was a great leader by example. He actually asked me one time, Coach, I don't say much. Do I need to say more? I said, Doc, example, example, example. Only use words when necessary.
The wrestling team has a phrase, and it's called OOS, and it's really a combination of two words, OOOSSS. It's the wrestling team's battle cry. It means to prepare and to persevere. Because it's a battle cry, it also means that if I give my 100%, we assume the person we're competing against will also give their 100%. And to me, that is Nate.
Favorite memories of Doc, of Nate. He used to tell the corniest jokes that most people would go, oh, but everybody would laugh because it just was Nate. And they would be these one-line, kind of two-line things. And so every once in a while I said, Nate, to pick practice up, tell one of those stupid jokes you used to tell. And he'd be happy to do that. We'd all get a big smile on our face and start laughing before he ever even said it. So he kind of had that, that charisma about him, just to kind of lift our whole dojo up, to lift the atmosphere up, and he was a great leader for us, a great leader and led the way most great leaders do, only use words if necessary.
Ladies and gentlemen, the newest member of the Maryville University Hall of Fame, Nate Rodriguez. Who would have thought a few years ago that we'd be sitting here right now, buddy?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm going to make you talk a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I remember I brought Nate in for an interview and trying to just get him to answer a question, because that's how Nate is. He's just so quiet, and like, the video said, just don't say a lot. But what does this award mean to you and what you've done here for the wrestling program at Maryville University?
It means a lot, just because I get to reflect on those memories, think about those times and those lessons that I learned. And so just, that process of allowing me to reflect on everything. And then, obviously it's a very highly sought after award. And so that's very honorable as well. And I appreciate that.
You've done some incredible things here at Maryville University, and we'll get into what you've done following graduation, because that's equally, if not more impressive. But talk about the national championship. Just walk us through that match and the way that you won it. I mean, because it was unbelievable.
So I feel like you're hinting at the time that I wrestled on this.
A little bit, yeah. We'll talk a little bit about that too.
But it was a very, it kind of brought everything full circle, because one of my very first matches, my college career, was Darren Wynn. And so having wrestled him so many times throughout my career and his career, and then to finish my last match, wrestling him kind of brought it full circle. It was definitely nerve-wracking, because at least 1 out of 10 times, and we were nearing that limit of 1 out of 10 times, you'd think someone would catch you. And luckily, he didn't catch me that last match, and so just brought it full circle.
On the academic side, you were as good as it was. I mean, and to earn the Bertram Award when you did. I mean, it was just unbelievable. Talk about the athletic piece getting you prepared to enter the outstanding career that you have right now.
Yeah, it taught me, I mean, there's like 3 rules of surgery, and it's eat when you can, sleep when you can, and don't touch the pancreas. And so I learned, with wrestling, eat when I can, and not only eat when I can, but learning what nutrients I should put into my body, and just very basic level of what nutrients to put in my body. And sleep when I can, I realize, the fundamentals of sleep and how it affects your overall status, and then diving deeper of just the discipline and everything that wrestling develops you as a person.
I know the national championship is probably the all-time favorite memory, but what's another really, really cool memory that you have from being part of the wrestling team here at Maryville? And I know that, the guys that you were with, what a great crew, and what a funny crew they were.
Yeah. It's probably winning all the ping pong tournaments that we played and all the Super Smash Bros. Tournaments that we played. Those are probably my favorite memories.
If you were telling somebody to give them advice, what would be something that you take from Maryville University as a student, as an athlete, to give a young person advice on what they want to do with their life, next step, big picture?
I think it's very cliche. I would say, 1, enjoy it. Enjoy being able to almost be selfish in a sense. It's one of the very few times where, especially as an athlete, where the focus is on you and you get to develop yourself as much as you can. So take advantage of that 4 years or 5 years that you have to be selfish and to develop yourself into the person that you want to be in the future.
What would you say to those guys sitting back there, this year's edition of the wrestling team? What's a message for them other than what you just said right now?
It would be show up early, stay late. There's very few secrets to being successful, and showing up early and staying late is keys.
Not a lot of people remember the dance that he did on this stage. And I know we're not going to reenact that tonight, right?
No.
Okay, just checking.
The suit costs a little bit more.
He's got a point. The suit does cost a little bit more than that. I know you have a lot of great people here in your support system. This is your chance to thank them for everything they've done for you.
Yeah, so my wife, Morgan, is here. So obviously a big thank you. And then my parents and my grandparents, they have always been supportive and allowed me to develop into what I wanted to become. And then, of course, Coach Denny and all my wrestling partners, just allowing me to develop and practice and all that time that we spent together.
And for those, there's a lot of people here that may not know. Tell them what you're doing right now, because I think it's just awesome, some of the things that you're doing.
I am... I'll hold off on the joke, but I am a general surgery intern at St. Louis University. So I am a general surgery resident and practicing medicine.
How cool is that? We've had a lot of great times together here, but now I can add to that. Nate, welcome to the class of 2022 Maryville University Hall of Fame. Congratulations, my friend.
Thank you.
And I was being serious when I said, when I did a call, especially after the national championship, trying to get Nate to even answer a couple questions, now you can see why. He's super impressive and has just done so many fantastic things. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's meet the next inductee to the 2022 Maryville University Athletics Hall of Fame.
Well, Dr. Pritchard came in. He came in a little after I was here, and he came in, I believe, as the business manager or CFO, and then they were looking for a president, and they had him right here in their midst. He's the first lay president of Maryville, and I got to know him really well because he liked athletics, and I think that was the thing that drew us to it, you know. And he was just a fine Southern gentleman. It wasn't all about him; it was about us.
Dr. Pritchard had a leadership ability that really stood out. Somewhat of a visionary, in fact, given the weekend college development. When I came, it was just in its second year. Maryville pioneered adult weekend college in St. Louis. Dr. Pritchard just showed exceptional leadership in both the growth and development of weekend college and of a relationship with the developer in developing Maryville Center.
I was interviewed on TV, and they asked me the question, when are you going to get a gymnasium? I said, well, Dr. Pritchard has promised us a gymnasium real soon, you know. So it was kind of funny. The next day I get a call from the president's office. Hey, Coach Pritchard will come and talk with me about it. He says, I don't think I said that. He said, I thought we were going to look at doing a gymnasium real shortly in the future.
One of my favorite stories, I guess, would be with weekend college each year. Dr. Joe Dyer, who headed weekend college, always wanted little or no increase in tuition. And since I was focused on balancing the budget, I always wanted more of an increase in tuition. And so we would agree to disagree. We worked together very well, but we would go to Dr. Pritchard. He would listen to the two of us, and then he would look at me and say, well, Larry, can you live with Joe's proposal? And I'd say, of course. And we would go with Joe's increase in tuition, which was much lower. And of course, that led to a very successful growth and development of weekend college.
I don't think, and I've been in this business a long time, I wouldn't be where I am today without Claude Pritchard. No question about it. 50 years of doing things, basketball and golf and all this kind of stuff, being an athletic administrator, being a professor. There's no way. He just, it's something about him that you just wanted to, he's just a Southern gentleman that was just, had everybody's interest at heart. And not his own, but everybody else. So he will impact me for basically for the rest of my life.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to bring up on the stage to accept this award on behalf of Dr. Pritchard. He's done everything here at Maryville University, Mr. Dave Pierce. Dave?
Well, this is a very special award, and I thank Maryville, and particularly the athletic department, for remembering me. It's been a long time ago, and now I have a title of President Emeritus, and emeritus means, in this case, many, many years ago, a long time ago, because it was a long time ago, and for them to remember me after all this and after all the things that have gone on since, and the great job that Dr. Lombardi's been doing, it's nice to be remembered. I was here for 16 years, and so it's a lot of memories. One of the best memories, as president, I signed the diplomas. One of the years there, I was signing diplomas, and lo and behold, there was my wife's name that I signed the diploma. And a little bit later, there was my third daughter's name. So those were really, really neat memories that I could sign their diplomas. It's surrounding yourself with talented people who buy into your vision and are willing to work together, not feel that they're in competition with each other for it, but that they're all in competition to make the institution the very best it can be. Built a new gymnasium since we didn't have one, and it was the first building that got built while I was here. It made a special reward, excitement that we could have our own gymnasium, and we had commencement there, and this was ours. Then we built the library, we built the new dormitories, and it was really a spark that made everything stick together and move forward. This was new for Maryville. And so something new, something exciting, all those things go together to build a spirit, to build an attitude that we're going to go forward. We're going to be the college. We're going to be the institution in this area.
Now, there's a reason why we're not going to keep Dave up here for question and answers, because we'd be here all night. Because me and Dave could talk about a lot of stuff. So we figured we'd spare everybody for a little while. In 2009, Maryville University created the Lonnie Folks Award to honor former student athletes, coaches, or administrators who exemplify good spirit, sportsmanship, stewardship, and service. This year's recipient of the Lonnie Folks Award is Kathy Lunan, past Chief of Staff and Liaison to the Board of Trustees for Maryville's Office of the President.
Well, I think the Lonnie Folks Award and what it's about, I think Kathy Lunan personifies that award. Kathy was a tremendous supporter of athletics for many, many years, both as a fan, as a road warrior, attending and going on road trips to attend and cheer for the team, but all the work that she did behind the scenes to facilitate athletics, the development of new sports, the move from Division III to Division II. And Kathy also was instrumental in helping put on a whole number of athletic events, from the Hall of Fame athletic ceremonies to halftime shows, all these things. And she did that work with tremendous diligence, commitment to the student athlete and the experience, and also quietly behind the scenes made those things so much better. And Kathy never sought the limelight in doing that. She just did a tremendous amount of work that had a profound impact on the experience for our student athletes. I have so many great memories with Kathy across the board, but I think a very simple and special one was, going to the basketball games, for example, men's and women's, on a Thursday night in the winter, and maybe cold out or whatever, and coming in, and of course Kathy would be sitting there with a number of other people to watch the game and support the kids, and that always is a special kind of experience. And we'd sit together, we'd go over the day in between cheering and maybe yelling at referees, and so a great experience. And I look forward post-pandemic to being able to do that with Kathy again this year.
I think Kathy is very deserving of this award. She has done so much for athletics, many things that people will never see. I think what came to life for me, and Kathy never had to say I love athletics, it was her spirit, and it was her interest in the students and the athletes, and most of all her attendance and support at the games and events. When I think about the time Kathy and I spent together at the games, and there were a lot of basketball games especially that we went to, I think the times when we had the most fun were when we traveled to go watch the team. I remember a trip to Springfield, Illinois, when we had just gotten into Division II and our women's basketball team won the conference and got a bid to the NCAA tournament. I think about people all the time that we have no idea of the impact that we have in the doing of things for others or the doing of a job. But we also forget about the impact that we have by our presence. And she had a presence at the athletic events, and she didn't have to do anything or shout out, "Hey, I'm here." She was there supporting regardless of who knew she was there or not, and it was just inspirational to me, and I appreciate that, and I'm grateful to still be able to call her friend.
Kathy Lunan, wow. Congratulations on being this year's recipient of the Lonnie Folks Award. I'm Lonnie Folks, and I hope that you think that it's great that you're receiving an award named after me, because I'm humbled and I'm honored to be presenting the award to you. Kathy, you have been here. You have worked for every single president that Maryville has had since we became members of the NCAA. And not only that, but while you were in those roles, you were always behind the scenes doing all these great things for our student athletes and for our coaches. You came to the games, you supported, you knew you had your ear to the ground, and you did all these things to help and support us. So I just want to say on behalf of our entire program, thank you for everything that you've done. Thank you for still doing things. You still come out to the games to this day, and I want to once again congratulate you on being this year's recipient of the Lonnie Folks Award.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the stage the 2022 Lonnie Folks Award recipient, Kathy Lunan. Bet you never thought you'd be sitting here on stage with me, have you there, Kathy?
Well, you all heard that behind the scenes. So, and Don, I didn't know about this either.
Yeah, Lonnie kind of left out a few of those things. So, first off, what does this award mean to you, being this recipient and being able to get it from the man himself, Lonnie Folks?
Well, I'm humbled and honored. And I think the first thing I said to Lonnie was, I feel like I've taken more from athletics than I've given, because I do like to go to all the games and watch all the student athletes who I know work hard and perform at the level that they do. It's just a joy to me to watch them. This award began right before I retired, and then Lonnie came back. So, which all worked out well. But I've just always enjoyed sports. And to be able to work at a institution of higher learning and being able to watch the athletes, it's the best.
You are very instrumental in helping move us, from NCAA Division III to Division II. Talk about how proud you were to be a big part of that process and to help get us to where we're at right now, contending and just watching our student athletes do terrific things.
Right. When I started at Maryville, which was 1991, the last year Dr. Pritchard was here, so it was great to see him on the screen. We were Division III and had good athletes, good sports, but I remember the men's basketball team, and maybe I shouldn't mention this, but they were just about to set the record for the longest losing streak. And by 1995, we were in the NCAA tournament, Division III. Then all the research and all the study and the work and the budget that it takes to move from Division III to Division II. It's an incredible amount of work by a lot of people. And so to be a part of that and see how successful the teams have become is great. And then adding so many new sports and still adding new sports. So it's been incredible.
Not only that, but you were also pretty, in the Big Red M. Talk a little bit about that. Talk a little bit about that.
I always say, when Dr. Lombardi came to Maryville in 2007, I think we had red umbrellas on campus. Now we have a lot of red and a lot of red M's, and it's almost like, where can we put one next? So that process has been very interesting. We had a committee that every month there was going to be something new that branded the university, and I think it's turned out well,
Yes.
like your pin.
Absolutely, it's turned out fantastic. I know you've got a lot of great memories here at Maryville. What's one that stands out for you?
Well, the students. What a joy to work with students. And Maryville has very great, nice, talented students. And to work with an administration and a faculty that are so gifted and focused on moving Maryville forward takes a lot of budgeting. Larry Hayes will attest to that. So to see Maryville where it is today, from when I started in '91, is amazing.
And how cool, let's see, we've got, I know at least 2 Lonnie Folks award winners here. I know Larry.
Larry and Martha.
Oh, we got 3, because Scott Harley.
Oh, Scott Harley. There's Scott, yeah.
So talk about that company that you're sharing, with this word.
Well, they're
oh yeah, back there too. Yep, back there too. Yep. Oh,
hi.
yeah.
Oh, I don't see.
It's yeah. Talk about the company you're sharing.
Well, I think maybe they've all been here longer than I was to start. But yeah, very focused on athletics and also their administrative roles at Maryville. Outstanding people. So to be in there. Oh, Kathy Quinn. Is Kathy Quinn? Where's Kathy Quinn?
She's sitting back there.
How could I forget Kathy Quinn?
I know you have a lot of people to thank.
Oh my gosh. Well, my family, my son that lives locally and his wife and my little grandson who you haven't heard a lot from, thankfully. And then my son from Stillwater, Minnesota, who completely surprised me. And he's supposed to be coaching my grandson's 10-year-old football team right now. And he's here. And my other relatives and Jan, my cohort in the president's office, oh my goodness, so many. And it's just so good to see familiar faces because Jan and I both retired in 2018, and not because Lonnie came, but then we went into pandemic, and I remember the phone call I got from Mark Lombardi watching a basketball game, and he and Lonnie were the only spectators, and it was just really, really strange. So, yeah, a lot of people to thank, and a lot of people I enjoy, and Kathy Quinn, who Kathy and I started working together on commencements in 1994, so we spent a lot of time together.
It is so great to see you.
Thank you.
Everything that you've done for the university in your many years here, I can't think of anybody else that's more deserving of the 2022 Lonnie Folks Award.
Oh.
Kathy, thank you so much.
Thank you.
As Kathy said, she's normally behind the scenes, and so she said to me, nobody told me about the interviews. And I said, we'll get you through it. So now to help us wrap everything up, it's my honor and privilege to introduce you to our Director of Athletics and Recreation here at Maryville University, Mr. Lonnie Folks, as he offers our final remarks.
Thank you, Jim, and thank you once again for doing a great job as emceeing. Jim epitomizes once a saying, always a saying. He hasn't worked for the university for a couple of years now, but he's always worked with the university, and he's been with us ever since. So thank you very, very much, Jim. To all of our honorees, Kathy Lunan, thank you for everything. Thank you for everything, receiving the award. They talked about it on the video, and we talk about it. There's a lot of things that have happened, especially for athletics, that nobody knows about, but I know. I know a lot of the behind. I know a lot when we were trying to do a lot of things, especially in town and country, that we had an angel behind the scenes rallying the troops for us. So thank you for that. And we have several of our student athletes who are the beneficiaries of all of the hard work you did. So thank you for all of the work you've done for that. To Dawn and to Nate, thank you. One of the things that I'm always proud of, whenever we have someone inducted into our Hall of Fame that played a sport here, we always invite our teams to come in to be a part of the ceremony. And we have our volleyball team here this evening who are actually tomorrow on their way to Kansas City for the weekend to play a couple of conference matches. And we have our wrestling team here, and hopefully they're going to be energized by the message and what Nate has done, and that'll help them when they're I'm sure they'll be on the mat in the dojo tomorrow, if not tonight, depends on Coach Zinni, but thank you to Nate and to Dawn for what you've done and how you've helped to put our programs on the map and get us started in the right direction. To Dr. Pritchard, who could not be with us physically, but I know that he's in South Carolina, and I know that he's Zoomed. I know that through the magic of Zoom and media, that he's watching this ceremony. So Dr. Pritchard, who was a person that started intercollegiates at the NCAA level at Maryville University, thank you, because we are now here today doing what we did because you had the foresight back in 1978 to say we want to start intercollegiates athletics at Maryville. So thank you, Dr. Pritchard, for what you did for our program, and special thank you to Mother Marjorie Pritchard for all of the ham biscuits that she fed me through the years and everything, and always taking care of us. So thank you very, very much for that. We have members of our team. We have members of our coaching staff that are here. Thank you for all the support and you helping our student athletes. We always talk about it, that there can be a storm brewing all around the place, but whenever we go out front, we want our student athletes to think that everything's hunky-dory. And my team and my coaching staff and my administrators help to make that right each and every day. So thank you for that. For this event, Jacqueline Blankenship is behind every single thing that happens on this campus, and she does a tremendous job with it. So thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you to our friends in media for doing a great job with us and supporting us along the way. Immediately after I finally leave the stage, we want to have our 3 recipients that are here come up on the stage for a group photo. You can get your cameras out and do that. And then following the photos, the inductees and their invited guests are invited to the President's Conference Center. We'll have a reception over there. Thank you once again. Go Saints. Have a great weekend, everyone.